Welcome again. The purpose of I'm saying today, don't tell me you can't do it and tie it in with the Super Bowl, is because simply throughout these two teams for a whole, we'll say 8 months, these two teams that made it to the Super Bowl, it was 20-something on the team, but these two teams literally outplayed all the teams in the NFL to be able to make it to the Super Bowl. And basically, it connect with don't tell me you can't do it. And the reason why it connect is because for one reason, they wanted to win. During the season, a lot of the players was on the injury reserve list. A lot of the players probably had COVID. They were switching in and out. They was going through struggles and hardship. But no matter what they went through, they kept grinding. They kept pushing. I'm sure they was praying a whole lot to keep on grinding and going to practice, doing all this chaotic with COVID and going from one state to the next, following rules and regulations. But guess what? Both of these teams, none of them gave up. And this is why I say, don't tell me you can't do it. For the simple reason is, if you give up, you will never reach your destiny. And this is what hard work, determination, and having faith in God. Like I said last week on my segment, faith, effort, and determination. Both of these teams had it. One of the teams against Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, a field goal took them to the Super Bowl. That means they grind all the way to the end. And a 3-point field goal took them over to make it to Super Bowl. So my question today is, I say to everybody, how bad do you want it? How bad? I mean, how bad you want it? You can't say you can't make it because that's not in the vocabulary, or don't tell me you can't do it. But no matter what they did and what we do in our lives, we can't tell ourselves we can't do it. So my addition today is I challenge each and every one of you guys, what dreams do you have? What visions do you have? What goals do you have? But whatever your gift is, or whatever your talent is, or whatever your goal is, it has to come, I told you before, it has to come from your gut. You got to know what you do. A lot of the players out there, they loving what they do. Yes, they getting paid, but they loving what they do. And the reason they loving what they do and being good at it, because they grinding at it, grinding at it. Anything you want in life that's you want to be successful in, you're going to grind. Is you going to come into some roadblocks and some hiccups? Yes, you are. But guess what? You have to keep telling yourself, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to win. You have to tell yourself you're going to win even when you don't see it. Like I told y'all last week, life is like a roller coaster with visions and dreams. You get on that roller coaster, the roller coaster goes up. That roller coaster took you around and snatched you. You ran on your partner. You ran on the person you was with in the roller coaster. And no matter how you was on that roller coaster, what you did was you held on to that bar. You held on. As y'all know, I'm a Cowboy fan. I like to stop. I am a stop. I believe that everybody take that. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. My team never win till you get to your destination. Whatever your goal is, whatever your vision is, no matter what it is, you got to master that. And how you master that, you got to stay on track. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep going. So I'm rooting. And I'm rooting for the LA Rams because I want Odell Beckham to get a ring. Look at his life. He never gave up. When he got injured, he took care of himself, went to the doctor, got the stuff done, got it fixed up. He came back. He was determined. He left one team, went to another. And guess what? The team he went to, now he's at the Super Bowl. So his life will tell you perseverance pays off. Nobody has a story and can tell you that through the beginning to the end, it was peaches all the way, because there's no such thing. So with that being said, you have to go through what you got to go through. But you got to keep persevering. You got to keep trying. You can't give up. So I look up to all of the players. I wish health and strength among them all. But the reason why I point out Odell Beckham so much, because what he was going through the season. But he's won, he persevered. And a lot of times that is an example for us. When we fall down, like Donnie McCurkin said, you fall down, but you got to get back up. You can't stay down there. Because successful people, when they fall, if they stay down there, they'll never be successful. So I wanted to come with you guys today on this edition, and I look at these two teams, and these two teams, we're going to see after fourth quarter when all the time is run out who wanted it bad enough. But remember, both of the teams are good. It's just to see who's going to be the greatest. I came with my gangster style on. Hey, I am a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm going to root for them Rams because I want to see my man Beckham Jr. get him a Ram. I want y'all to come on live. I want y'all to take a moment out. Come with your question. How bad do you want anything in life? I mean, how bad do you want it? You want it so bad that it's going to make you move, or you want it so bad it can make you sick? Because if it make you sick, you don't want it that bad. I don't care what you say, what you do, you don't want it that bad if you still sitting on it. When you want it that bad, it makes you, when you talk about it, it just gives you the chill. When you think about it, you be like, oh my God. And it's never about you just making it to make a whole lot of money. When you know your dream and your passion, it becomes, I just love what I do. You have to live success and then you can taste it. And tasting success is nothing like it. I mean, but you got to grind and it ain't going to be easy. Sometimes when you get there, you're going to sit back and say, oh my God. Well, I think when you being pushed back, it's probably just pushing you back enough so you can re-look at the situation a little different. Don't look at it like it's a pushback. Look at it like, are you still looking at it in the same way? Because I can tell you this. I could sit back and I could look at something and I could go back and revisit that same situation and my outlook will be different. So maybe God is probably trying to tell you to look at it a little differently. You never know, but you got to still persevere. Just when you being pushed back, it's probably some power in what you're doing. Because to me, when you got power in you, that's what Satan does the best. He pushes you back so people don't see the blessings of what you're coming forth with. So you keep persevering and remember, don't give up. Keep going. Just kind of look at it a little differently. Kind of go from another side and view it a little differently. My favorite football player, well, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I wouldn't say I got one favorite, but I love Dak, I love Elliott, I love Pearson, I love all the people on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't have no favorite, but I got one that's retired that he's like a mentor to me, and that's Emmitt Smith, because Emmitt Smith was short, and before he became in the NFL, a lot of people told him that he wasn't going to be doing good because he was short, he wasn't going to make a difference. And Emmitt Smith was a world-renowned running back for the Dallas Cowboys. And he showed you, although they told him he couldn't do it, he proved to them differently. So he's one of the retired Dallas Cowboy fans that I really, really look up to. I like to hear stories on people that told them they couldn't do it. Like me, when I was in high school, I was told that I wasn't going to be nothing because all I used to do was fight all the time. I told I wasn't going to be nothing. I'd probably be in prison because I used to fight, but they didn't know where that fight came from. And so people told me that. So now when people see me today, like high school people, they look at like this, and it does me great honor to let them see what God has done in my life. So those are stories I like when people counted you out, but God still counted you in. So that's my take on it. What I could give advice for the Super Bowl and players in particular. While you doing well with your life, take care of your health, first of all, and playing the sport. And two, while you making all this wealth, look back and invest in somebody that you can bring up. I'm an advocate for that. When God bless you, you can always look back and bring somebody back up with you. But not only that, make good investment choices so when your career is over and you can be able to walk off the field and you retire, you could always look back and say, I did something good with my money, I took care of my health, and not only that, I went back and I brought somebody up. Don't be selfish with your gifts, kind of like bring somebody up with you, because that's the whole accomplishment of life in any career. When you make it, go get somebody and bring them up to God will be well pleased with that. Well, one of the habits is, you gotta, like for me, I'm gonna just speak for me, A habit is I pray constantly. You don't have to be, or you could be riding in your car, you could be running, walking on the job. Can't nobody, people could take anything from you, but they can't take your education and your prayer life. Two, you got to eat, sleep, and breathe it. So some of the habits is you got to keep telling yourself when things don't look like you're going to make, you got to keep telling yourself. So the habit is never to quit, never to stop grinding, and just keep going at it. I don't care if it takes you 10 years, just keep going and going and going. And habits meaning keep praying, keep pushing, keep going, keep persevering and be determined. I mean, you got to have determination. You got to give it to yourself. If nobody don't see it, you got to see it. So the habits is every day, just keep grinding for what you want to do. Keep moving. You can't believe it. You look at me. They told me I couldn't do it. What you have to do when you hear that around people you may be around, what you have to do is not let that soak internally. Let it stay external. Meaning you heard it, but it can't be bigger than I can't do it. Meaning when somebody tell you can't do it, okay, when they say that, it gotta be like water on a duck's back. You just gotta let it run over. You can't internalize defeat. You can't accept defeat. You can't let nobody tell you. If you know deep down in your heart and soul that's what God told you to do and you got a gift for that, you can't accept that. So you don't think as I sit here as a successor, people told me I can't do it. I could write a book on the people told me I couldn't do it. You just cannot internalize it, and you can never not believe it. Don't ever believe you can't make it. I don't care how I look. I don't care how I feel. I don't care how depressed you get. You got to believe. You got to lay down at night and say, it look bad, but I know it could be done. You got to keep believing. You just got to keep believing. And you can't listen to what people tell you, because whether you know it or not, as God is blessing you, that's the devil's job to deter you, for you to think you can't do it. Because as soon as he gets you on track, your mission is voided. So you have to stay on track. I pray. I just pray. And I don't go to God with no big words, no talking in tongues, and speaking all like that. I go to God, I'm a sinner, I'm saved by grace, I'm a wretch undone, and trust me, sometimes I be wanting to cuss people out. But what I do, I pray. And trust me, I feel, like I said last week on my podcast, I go to bed at night, sometimes things ain't moving the way I want them to move, things ain't, so me, I just pray and I talk to God. I really do. And I surround myself with positive people that's going to tell me positive things. Don't give up. And they won't let me give up. I got people that won't let me give up. And when I start talking negative, they kind of like take me to another thing. So I got my prayer life. And I don't go to God with no big eyes, because I ain't no damn saint. I'm a sinner saved by grace. So don't think you gotta be so holy, because God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. You just gotta have a relationship with him, because he knows you better than you know yourself. Well, in the fruitful business, I feel like I've made it. And the reason why I feel that way, because I have accomplished every era in there. So when I say, it don't have anything to do with money, how much money I made. It don't have nothing to do with that. I have mastered the art of being a funeral director and embalmer. I have embalmed more bodies than I could count. I have directed more funerals than I could count. I have brought people with me. I have brought a lot of funeral directors that wasn't funeral directors up. So I feel like when you have made it to that point when there's nothing else for you to do. Because what you're doing, you have accomplished everything. What else for you to do? So what I did, God gave me another vision, and that was, don't tell me you can do it, because in the funeral business, I'm going to keep serving. I'm going to keep providing excellent service. However, I'm just going to different things in life. And I feel like when you hit the peak is when you've done everything. What's my next move now? What's my next call? So when you have done everything in that field that you got to do, then you done hit the peak. You done hit the peak. When you give up. Failure is nothing but you giving up. Failure not meaning that And I'm gonna use my example. I opened up a third location. It was many, many years ago. I opened up a third location, and I turned around and I was in the location a year. I was going through a lot with the city, and I was going a lot with a lot of politicians and city people that really had me thinking they was for me when they was crooked as hell. So I had my third location, and after a year, I closed it down, and I felt like I failed. But then I started talking to a lady from the bank, and she asked me, she said, "What did you get from that?" She said, "Did you quit?" I said, "No. That failure was to teach me something." It did. Now my journey with success, opening up another location, I didn't repeat those same ways that I did before. So to me, never quit. If you fall, get back up, brush yourself off. If you got a little bruise, put a little ointment on it. If you gotta walk with a broken leg or crutches, just don't quit. You can pause, but don't quit. And that's when you fail, when you quit. It's always resources. It's who you connecting yourself with. With everything in life, if God give you a gift, He's going to give you the resources. It's always resources. It's who you connecting with, because who you connecting with is really not giving you the resources. Because everybody that say they for you really ain't for you. And sometimes you have to walk in silence and toot your own horn, because everybody ain't going to tell you that. So to say no resources, it's no way it's no resources. That's like saying you can't do it. It's no, to everything on this earth, there's a resources, there's a way to get there, there's a route. It's always that way. It's what route you going. It's like going from here, driving from somewhere. I may not know the route, but there is a route. So to me, I think it's always resources, and I think you just hang around the wrong group of people. I think your circle is not the circle you should be in, and you start praying hard and asking God to put you surrounded around people that can show you a different manner. Because it's all, where there's a will, there's a way. Without a way, there ain't no will. So ain't no such thing as ain't no way. So it's always a way. So it's resources. It's resources in everything. Well, for me, it's when I done everything in my present business. Like I said, I'm a licensed food breakdown. I'm an arm I can still write new books. But in the food business, I need to do something else, because I've accomplished everything to, it's like, I don't want to be bored. But I want to serve, I want to continue to serve, because that's how God has allowed me to serve. But at the same token of allowing me to serve, is other ways I can serve. I don't have to just serve when people pass away. I can serve people by giving them my testimony. I can serve people by being able to tell them how I did it. There's a lot of ways I can serve. So I'm not moving from the food industry. I'm just moving in another way to serve. I'm gonna serve in all capacities, and I'm bringing people up with me. I ain't gonna go on this journey and I made it and I ain't bringing nobody with me. All right, now who's gonna join me? I hope they, all right, what the score is for the Super Bowl. I told you, LA Rams got 6, finna kick that field goal. Oh, my marketing producer finna join me on the show, Sakivia Foster. All right now. You joining me on the show? Well, I ain't got you nothing to drink, because you don't need to drink. Two of us don't need to be lit. And we don't need to be lit.
I definitely don't need to be drinking behind me, but this pool behind me, I can't swim.
But boy, she falling in the pool. Lord, y'all have mercy on me. I'm going to jump in there with her, and I'm going to get her, and then I'm going to get out, and we going to laugh and have fun. All right now.
So I joined you on the set because I wanted to talk to you about Don't Tell Me You Can't Do It, and give my testimony about Don't Tell Me You Can't Do It.
Oh, your testimony. All right now.
So, I'm okay. So just a little testimony about not being able to do it and failure. It was interesting when you said the only time you fail is when you quit. I got my degree about maybe 4 years ago. I might have been, what was it, 2022? I think this was maybe 2018, maybe 19. But it took me 13 years. I failed quite a few times. I was kicked out. I was on academic probation. I was diagnosed with clinical depression. I just had a lot that went on, and I just kept telling myself I can do it. You said something else, where there's a will, there's a way. My mama taught me that very early. And so I'm a witness to don't tell me you can't do it. I'm a witness to not quitting, because when you keep going, you can do it. You just cannot quit. And so that was definitely true when you said just
What you
don't.
say, Mama told you. A lot of times, us today, we live, I'm not saying nothing wrong with people's values or nothing like that, but back then, well, I'm in my 50s, so when I was coming up, parents lived off of the church.
Right.
They live off of their faith. They used to have motherboard meetings, prayer meetings. It ain't nothing like today. You go to church and realize people be talking to them.
Right.
It ain't nothing like how it was when I was coming up. I had a mother-in-law, she was on the usher board, she was all in all facets of life. But these people really prayed you through. So that's very positive, because back then we had parents that tell us there wasn't nothing we could do. They literally prayed for us more than they prayed for themselves.
Right.
So, and then another thing you touched on, you was on academic probation. I'm laughing because in '82, before I started doing my military life, I went to college. And I got pregnant with my son, and I had to come out of school. And when I came out of school, I didn't know you had to withdraw from school. I just left school. I didn't withdraw. So I didn't want to go no more. I was pregnant. I was in the mortuary program, and I just stopped going. And it was so amazing when I went back to school. They say you on academic probation. I said, what the hell is that? I ain't never been on no academic or whatever. But what happened was when I didn't withdraw, all the professors gave me an F. And when they gave me an F, I went back to school, and now they want you to take classes to pull you out of academic probation. That's why y'all can't tell me it ain't a struggle with success. So I never forget, God bless this man, he was at the Miami-Dade. I went to the school, and I couldn't understand why I was on academic probation. So here I am, a mother of three, owning my own hair salon, going back to school. I went to this man, he said, oh, you gotta take these classes, you gotta take them, you know, the free classes you gotta
Right,
take.
right.
When you're on academic,
Right.
they feel like you ain't got it together.
Right. The ones you don't get no credit for.
And then you gotta pay for them.
Right.
And then again, so at that time, I'm paying my way through college. I was like, who the hell gonna pay all this money for stuff? Now I don't need y'all to teach me how to get it together. I already got this together. But they don't know that, because that's the college system. They get your money on this stuff. So I went to this man, I can't think of his name. And I had a very good person, DeWanda Curtis. This is my sister from another mother. She was out to the college. She swung into me. She's much older than me, very educated woman. And she took me to see this man. And when I was seeing the man, he was like, only way I could get you into school without you taking the class, I gotta override it. He looked me in my face and he said, if I override this, you can't come back to me with no grades lower than A, B, C, D. I looked that man in his face. I said, I guarantee you I graduate with honors if you just override and gave me a chance. So help me God, when I walked across that stage, I graduated with honors. Because I prayed and asked God, if you give me a chance to go back, I guarantee you I won't quit. So you hear her say she was on academic probation. I was too. For whatever reason we was on there, we didn't quit.
Absolutely.
That's my whole point of saying. How you gonna ever come? I ain't giving them, it took her 20 years. But guess what? Your degree does not say the length of time.
Absolutely.
It does not say what your GPA was or is. It say bachelor's, master's, associates in art, associates in science. That's what it says. So, not quitting. So I'm big on that. Is you gonna get bruised along the way? It's like you've been in a fight and you ain't even put up no punches. And most of the fights that we are in before we quit, she could contest to that as far as we deal ourselves that day. A lot of people want to blame God for their disappointments and their faith. Half of that shit you in, 80% you put yourself in. The other 20% is what life dealt you. Because guess what? Had I applied myself better and went to school and say, well, I don't want to go to school no more, what should I do? I could have withdrawn from the class. But then when we get into stuff, we be like, oh my God, why God allow that to happen?
Right.
God looking at you like, what? I ain't had nothing to do with that. So not quitting is, I can't taste that in my mouth. I can't see it, I can't taste it. So that was a good point you made.
Yeah, thank you. I lost my train of thought.
I'm too young for that.
I don't know. No, but something you said. Oh, and so that leads me back to being self-aware. When you said sometimes we put ourselves in those situations, and that leads me into being self-aware of what you did. You understand? And that makes you not quit, because when you take responsibility for your own life, you know, and not why me, not this, not that. Right. When you have that victim mentality, it's hard to keep going. It's hard to
because you're stumbling yourself.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, they sit up there. Sometimes I say to people, and I have a saying, what's the solution? I don't give a damn go wrong. Or you wrong. What's the solution? If you sitting up there trying to figure out a blame, all you got to do is get past that. I say, this is what I say, Lord, if it was me, fix me. Let's keep it moving. If I offended you, I apologize. If I did something wrong, I go back to the map, just like one of the questions. The lady said, when it ain't no resource, ain't no such thing as ain't no resource. That means if it ain't no resource, it ain't no God. It's always resources for everything. So when I hear people say it ain't no resources, I'm looking at them crazy, like what? So my sister's always resource. Oh, I got another gift. You want you some wine? So hey, girl, just put what? So you tell me, don't tell me you can't do what I. Oh, you know I've been preaching to you for a long time. She just passed her real estate exam, and she used to come crying all the time. I didn't want to hear all that whining. Sometimes y'all be whining. And she used to come to me and say, "This is my future daughter-in-law, by the way. I just claimed her already. My son kind of like be trying to get iffy, but I just get missing and don't hear a damn thing he's saying. Because I see the jewel that she is. I see the jewel that she is. So she just graduated from real estate school. So tell me your little struggles with that.
Okay, so when it came to that, initially how I got into it, me and Baby went to start. We was looking at houses, and I really.
Who is Baby?
Me and Baby.
Oh, you and Baby. Okay, that's the feel. Okay, you and Baby. Y'all young people got these terminology. I call it what it is. Okay, Baby. Okay.
So we was looking at homes, and our real estate agent was very just elite and just warm and welcoming. So, you know, I just started asking her questions like, what made you get into this? Like, what do you like about it? And she was telling me, well, I've been doing this for 2 years now. Before I used to work, and then, you know, I transitioned from working a full-time job to being an agent. So I sat on it for like maybe a year. But what really made me move my feet was I kept running into people that was going into real estate. I lost my nail tech, became an agent. My lash tech was an agent. There's this girl that I went to work with, and she was an agent. So I'm like, well, what is this? This is a sign? Because I was thinking about it, but I never acted on it, and I kept running into people. So, and then Babe was like, well, Babe, why you just don't try it out? Just do your research and look up a school. So I looked up a school. I found the perfect school. I was still working. And so that year, working a full-time job and in school, then I ended up getting another full-time job. So I was working 2 full-time jobs in school, and I used to be so tired. I used to be crying, like, oh my God, this is too much.
Yeah, I know I used to
So eventually I ended up leaving the second job so I can truly dedicate myself to the school. And then I finally got to the finals. I passed my finals. And then like 6 weeks after, I took my exam, and I was all over the place. I was scared. My anxiety was through the roof.
You was getting on my
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Well, that's what I kept telling you. Don't quit. You can do it. You can do it.
And I was
why I say you gotta surround yourself around partners. But when you was getting on my nerve, I would call you. Listen, you could do this.
I was watching countless videos. I was sitting in Starbucks for like 10 hours just studying. And I went in there.
Effort, work.
And I did that for like 7 days straight. The day before I took my exam, I went to the site, I prayed, I got the little healing order.
Oh, I got healing on. I even know you still got that healing on.
I still got it. And I prayed before I went in there. And I passed. And I cried like a big old baby.
Ooh, y'all hear that? Perseverance. You hear what she said? Perseverance. She kept, and I'm going to be honest with you. She came to me many times, and I'm going to tell you something very hard. My next speaker going to be my daughter. She going to tell you. Sometimes I could be a real stigma on attacking people, especially people that closer to me because they know my face walk. So with her, she used to come to me and she used to say she was tired. I said, okay, tired. Get you a little sleep. I tell y'all, successful people don't sleep, they nap. Get you a little sleep, get back up, start studying. I call her, what you doing? I'm studying. What you doing? I'm studying. Keep going, keep going. That's what success do. Like what she said. It made her cry sometimes. That's what success do, because when you want to give up, something inside of you telling you ain't giving up. You got to keep grinding. So now she graduated. Congratulations. I'm so glad y'all
showing today.
Ooh, yeah.
I work a full-time job, I'm a full-time agent. I had 2 showings today.
Okay, your first check, I want a percentage for all that aggravation. You see me, I want a percentage for that first aggravation. Don't give me no money, just take me out to dinner. And I'm going to pick an expensive restaurant because no real estate agents be making money. So, congratulations. Thank you. And thank you so much for getting on here. I got me one more guest that I want to bring to you guys. And this person is my guest. This is my mini-me. And I wear many titles in her life, but we're going to talk about, she can tell you what kind of mama I am, because I'm sometimes I'm that kind of mama. She tell me I say things, but it always don't come out right, because sometimes I just say, damn, you don't get it, and to y'all it may look chummy, but I got to give it to her raw, because she saw me come up. My daughter was in middle school.
You graduated?
When I used to go to Greg Mason, what grade you was in?
Yeah, I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, and she used to go to work with me after school and see me intern. I used to pick up from middle school, go to work, move back and forth. So she saw the kind of like success of my life. So tell me how I feel to have a mother that demands so much from her children. And sometimes I'm going to tell you, they say I could be a real bitch, and I'm going to put the capital B in it, but it's all right. It's all right, because sometimes I can, because this is my offspring. This is my legacy. So I'm going to push you beyond men. So tell me how I feel to have a mama that's successful, and some of the shit I be saying to you that.
It's tough, okay? Because you expect us to do what you did, how you did it. You want it done the way you want it done. And if we don't do it the way you say, that's an issue. You know, you can be a little tough.
Okay.
The way you say things, your approach is not always the best.
But
I know you mean well, but the way you come off be a little.
Don't it be right though?
Yeah, it do. But
okay. What was the main thing I did when we lived in the house and you called the phone? What that song you used to hear?
What, Jesus on the main line, just tell him what you want.
I played that song all the time. That was my answer machine. I brought my children up on the word. So, all that I went through, bringing y'all up and telling y'all and pushing y'all, do you think it paid off?
Yes, definitely. It's an inspiration. So, it just taught you not to want to go through the same things. Kind of like, you know, give you a blueprint of the way things supposed to go. Even though it's in someone else's shoes, you kind of know, what to do, what not to do, how to handle certain situations. So it's a plus, a little downside.
Ain't no minus. It might be the minus.
I mean, to them they don't know, but when you gotta hear the cussing out on their back end, that's the minus.
It ain't always cussing out now. It's just because you don't get it. But my daughter, she recently got married, and when she got married, I just gave her the truth about marriage. I ain't sugarcoat the shit. I just told her. I told her what to accept and what not to accept. I gave her the print. She had two brothers. They was an example, but her mama was the main example. But I want to touch on one thing. Just about maybe 8 years ago, I used to stay on my daughter back about credit. And y'all young people, y'all don't give a damn about y'all credit. Y'all don't care. All y'all want to do is let people see y'all in Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada. Y'all want to be draped down and shit and ain't got no money. So my daughter was a product of that. And I used to always tell her, you know, you married, you got two kids, save your money, this, that, or whatever. And I used to preach to her about credit, and I used to, like, say, put away a little bit of money. And her defense was to me, oh, mama, you can save because you got money. And whenever you get that negativity, that's because you don't hit a spot that really was true. She knew I was telling the truth, but she had to come to me like that. So with saying that, I was saying for 8 years, Lord, make sure your credit right. Some things I ain't gonna live forever. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. So about maybe a year ago, she came to me with some shocking revelation. I was shocked. I did, dang, like all that talk I've been doing. She came to me and she said, Mama, you have helped me with a lot of things, you know, as far as her house, her cars, things in life. She said, Mama, I finally got my credit to the point that I'm serious about that. She said, Mama, I'm saving money. She called the people on the phone, was opening up accounts. She was making sure her credit score, making sure she didn't have nothing delinquent. And I don't know if I said to you, I was so proud of that because it made me see that you was maturing because you was a damn brat. You was a brat. And I was trying to teach you the things that wasn't taught to me that I'm trying to give to you so you don't make the same mistakes I did. So y'all young people, credit is important. She'll tell them a little about that credit thing.
Yeah, definitely serious. Well, for me, I always had you to piggyback off, so the credit wasn't like bad credit, but it was not establishing my own credit. So I wanted to get to a place where I no longer needed you. I could put you to the back and everything fall off of me. So that's where the importance came from. I knew that, okay, if I need her, she's going to be there, but I wanted to do everything on my own. I wanted to establish things for myself. I wanted to be able to go on the car lot and sign for my own cars. I don't need no co-signer. I wanted to be able to go and purchase homes on my own. You know, it's good to have a support system, but you want to do it on your own. So like I told you the other day, you put that in my head a lot, but it don't happen overnight. It was a process. So I had to get it. I had to learn it for myself. I had to know the importance of it. And then
you made a lot of excuses because that's what I said last week about excuses. Oh, well, Mom, I'm going to get there. I'm going to do that. But you're 29 years old. You're a mother. You're a wife and a mother. It's time that, you know, I'm not going to live forever. And even if I did live forever, don't it feel good to be able to have your own credit? And God knows, Lord, I thank you. She ain't got to leave no more. Lord, I thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
Great, actually.
Lord, I thank you. So I thank God that all the talking and fussing, she really kind of got it. She told me a couple years, how long you been in your home?
3 years.
3 years. And I told her when we bought the house, me and her bought the house, my name, her name, and I told her I'm going to give you some time, but I want you to get the house out of my name and be able to finish on your own. And she finally got to that point. So I say kudos. I'm like happy when I see my children do what I'm telling them because I'm not just wasting my breath. I don't wrote the blueprint. All you got to do is don't say to yourself, well, she did it, but I want to do it my way. Why have to do it the wrong way to get it right when I am telling you the right way? So with her, that's kind of like what I did. And oh my God, Jesus Christ. This is the kid that's a thorn in the side. You know, like David said he had a thorn in the side. This was my thorn in the side. And the reason why he's my thorn in the side, he think he know more than me. And I tell you, I have to get like them people do. I gotta get a little ghetto with his ass. I gotta get ghetto because he's the type of person. He said to me one day, "Oh, Mama, I know it. And I was telling them, babe, trust me. You been here 31 years. I'm double that number almost. And you think you know more than me? I'm almost there. So when he come to me trying me, you know each one of your kids, you know them. When he come to me, I was just telling Sakivia last night, I was so close. The cop and a charge off of him, till I had to go pray. I had to pray.
I know she cussed me out the most. She cussed me out the most. I already know she cussed me out the most.
So,
I ain't gonna lie though. This is like my superhero. I think I'm blessed because I get two sides of the spectrum. My pops, he just boring as hell, but he got a lot of morals and values that you can't get. So I go to him for basically life advice on how to handle things and how to persevere as a man. But when it comes to making money, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you back, bro. I think my mama, I think she Oprah. I look at her as my Oprah. I think one of the greatest things God has given us is being able to have a mother to where we want to be where we are in the position we in the world. And when I say that, I remember being a kid where she wanted to move to Broward to where my dad ain't even know houses had names. And I just remember, I never forget, I was probably like in the 7th grade. And my daddy asked her in the car, how we gonna afford that? She like, I don't know, but that's why I want to live at. And I remember me and my sister and brother writing notes and putting it in the foundation of a home. So I grew up with the mindset feeling like, hell, I seen her do anything she could do. So in my mind, that's how I look at life. Like, anything that I wanted to pursue, I felt like was in arm's reach because I had the blueprint in my home. So I went throughout my life just always, like, I talked about her so much because it was just like, I got the blueprint in my house. I could look up to successful individuals, but I got a blueprint around. Like, she get on my nerves. She tell me all the things I don't want to hear. She never agreed with me. That's why I call my daddy most of the time. But she's always there for me. I ain't never in my life met a friend that had a better mom than me. You feel me? She may not sit down and tell you what you want to hear, but she ain't gonna let you fall. And as I became an adult, I value not only, I heard Rick Ross say one day, one of his artists said, how could you be around all this success and don't get no money? So that's how I started to look at it. Not only did I have my own endeavors, but I was like, damn, if she's successful, let me try to add some insight to the things that she's doing. So that's what started me reading books. I started reading more than I watched, just because I kind of felt like knowledge was everything. Then I would talk about the things that I imputed to her. We argue, but like my daddy said, y'all like one and the same. I think out of all us, I feel like I carry her ambition. And I value so much of what she's created for us that I kind of just feel like when it comes to, it'll be a disservice to her to go full throttle in the business she's already thriving. So I feel like it's my job to take on another field and take the same principles and morals that she's taught us and add it to another field. And while I'm getting my feet wet, let her be the voice to say, okay, she could be the voice for black women. I don't think I've met a woman to where I haven't bragged in my mind. Just kind of keep done the position she's put us in. She may not know that, but I mean, she ain't never not been there. I think any milestone in my life, she either coached me through it, walked me through it, or gave me a solid amount of advice. When we first started investing in the music, she would spend money. I remember we did how much we did for the fly feature, like $8 grand. And we did paperwork, we did everything, and basically we got finessed out the bread.
Yeah, we lost that.
But
I told you, get
she
up.
never stopped. But one thing I value, she never stopped believing in me. A couple of years later, we did a couple things, and she just would always tell me, I'll never forget. She'd be like, if you want to do it, how bad you want it. So I kind of got in the mindset that no matter what circumstances life was giving me, if I really wanted to do it, I was gonna put myself in position. Don't tell me you can't do it to me. When I look at her like a blueprint. I've been telling her for years, she like Oprah. Just with her energy, things she has to offer. It's like a voice for the young women that's coming up, like to give it to them raw. Most business women, they kind of move a certain way, to where it's like they don't do certain things. She the total opposite. I feel like she's the whole package from coming from the hood, being a praying woman, being a woman of morals and kind of character and keeping herself in a certain light to where I feel like she set the blueprint. So me, when I look at it, I feel like I got the cheat code, dog. I feel like I got the cheat code to have a mama like this, to have a woman around my mom, to have a daughter to sit around, and my daughter we ride around my guns, and sometimes my daughter be like, look at grandma on the billboard. That's a blessing, because then my child get to grow up and be able to see what success does in our household, and the things that she's kind of created. So I kind of think it's amazing, man. I think it's one in a million. I think our life is completely different. And I think the union matters, but I think that if my mom didn't have the drive and ambition to want to be great, I don't think we'd be. You feel me? So I think it's extremely important that she know how important that is for us. But hell, I think I'm on steroids with some kids.
Yeah, and that's the attitude you gotta take. They had the type of dad, he was settled where he was. And like I say, he was the type of man, I've never seen him not go to work. My husband went to work every day, but he was comfortable where he was. But I wanted more. I came home him one day and said, we was living in Opalaka, nothing wrong with living in Opalaka. And I said, I don't want to bring my black boys up here. I just don't. I had just had a major surgery, and like you said, my husband said, how we gonna pay for this? I say, one thing about me, I don't know when and I don't know how, but I know God will make a way. That's why when the lady say about the resources, there's always resources. There's always a way. So my husband was great at being a father and a husband, but he was content wherever we at. If we right here, he just want a family, and love a family, but I wanted greatness. I wanted bigness. I wanted everything that God had to matter, and I always go back to Steve Harvey. You prayed for God for what you wanted. Don't get mad at me because God gave me big things and you got little things. That's all you ask God for. You ask God for a comfort home. You ask God for a car ride. That's okay. I say, Lord, I want me a Rolls Royce.
Right. I be like, God, you gave the mama that.
Listen,
Don't leave me out.
God, I want the $1 million house.
Yeah.
And I ask God for big things. Why? Because I serve a big God. Why limit God? I don't put God on no limit. Like I told my son, I was telling you this also. I was even telling Mark that they see the strange thing. What I see for them, they don't even see. But I'm gonna let God bust their head open because I already see it. They just don't see it. I see things on a big scale. I'm not a little scale person. I see things on a big scale. So one thing I'm privileged to, when I come with vision and goals, my husband will just look at me and say, okay. My husband would just look at me and he'll just, babe, whatever.
You ain't easy to deal with.
Oh,
But I think, as I've gotten older, I think that's the perks that come with it. I think, to be perfectly honest, I think that you can't get everything you want. So I think that in the midst of this, I think that it's like a yin and a yang. Certain conversations that I know I have with you, I can't have with that. Just to be honest, I know when it comes to where I'm finna put my money, Daddy want me to make a smart decision. But I know you want to make sure the bread double. Daddy want me to be safe. You ain't on the safe tip.
and Daddy want you to shop at Amazon and I go to Bear Hall.
Daddy ain't on no Bear Hall.
He's very conservative. And
hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you a story. This some real facts. We was playing football when we was kids. My daddy bought us some cleats. I'm like, damn, what mama? We went to Just for Feet, dog. And I'm talking about, I ain't gonna lie though, we kids, bro. I'm sitting here like, damn, I'm in the car like, bro, what mama at, bro? Because when it came to everything, my old boy would be conservative. Mama gonna buy you, mama gonna keep you drip. You feel me? Like, I was the type of kid, we grew up to it, we did anything in the streets, we didn't have to. It was basically a choice, factual.
exactly.
Mama kept us in the latest Jordans or the latest nice things. But it was basically like, when it came to my dad, it was like, the baseball cleats don't work no better than the football cleats. But mama understand the narrative of making sure you got the Nikes.
And he still like that today. He said when we bought this big mansion, do we need that? I say we don't need it, but we getting older, and I always ask God for a mansion. He gave it to me. Guess what? Half the things in life you don't need. You need bread, water, and clothing. But we wanted more.
I don't think it was a need. I think what she did, not unknowingly, was every time we pull up to that guard game, we punch a number in. I don't know about my brother and sister, but I'm pretty sure it gives us motivation for the things that we can have. I think in life, when a person don't see it, it feels like it's impossible. But when I get on Iron Shield test to my shorty, I'm like a robot. And I'm like that because I done seen what success can do. You understand? Like, I done seen what hard work and eating and sleeping something could do. So for me, it's like, damn, if she could get it like this, just imagine if I add 20% extra to this, it's like I could double it. And I feel like one of my homies told me one day, I'll never forget, and I'm going to say this live, we have our personal conversation. That nigga said, bro, your mama mean. He said, nigga, if you don't top that, you a bitch. And he said to me, he said, you already on the road, but he said, she set the standard. So when I go to bed at night, I set the standard for my daughter, for myself, for my old lady, my fiance, on the same things that she said. Because these are the morals and principles I came up on. She did it, I want the same things for myself. So I can do it at a level to where it's like I can add to the legacy. This is a legacy for us.
Yeah.
It's a legacy. She created a legacy, so it's only due diligence to her to make sure we add on top of what she's worked hard.
And you always want to do better. That's what, when I started having my kid, my mom brought us up like when me and my sister was older. We had a good life. Our mama struggled, she raised us. But like my sister said, she wanted to be a millionaire. That's what we wanted to do. So how we gonna do that? We wanted to be better. Not saying the life that we got that wasn't a blessed life. My mama gave us the best life she knew how. But we wanted more, and I wanted more. That's when people say, well, why she doing the podcast? I want to give something back. My life is everything you see, and don't tell me you can't do it. This is my life. I'm draped in it, I'm clothed in it, I'm bathed in it, I think it, I breathe it, I sleep it, I eat it. You know, because we tell everybody, you can't do it.
All our kids wear Gucci, my nigga. Excuse my French. All our kids wear Gucci, my nigga, for her. Like, you gotta understand, like, all our kids are in Gucci. That is a blessing. Sometimes I sit back home and all our kids are playing at recess in Gucci. Off the strength of her hard work and vision. So I feel like sometimes it's extremely important to give you your flowers. Because when I sit back and look at it,
well,
like,
stop damn fussing at me. If you
that don't mean when I fuss at you,
you don't be fussing at me because I don't accept it.
But listen though,
I
tell you like I tell my lady though.
little,
But here's the thing,
I beat you down.
You said something that was true. You fuss because you care. I ain't never seen you fuss at nobody you don't give a damn about.
Exactly.
So I know at the end of the day, when she talk her talk, she may not deliver it the best, but at this age, bro, I done got over the fact. That's my mama, bro. It ain't gonna come to my way. I just listen to what she's giving.
Listen, I told Sakivia the other day, and I mentioned this to Marcus a while back. If I didn't care, I would zip my damn.
I'll be honest with you.
Most of the time when people fuss, they using their energy because they care. Remember what I said to you the other day? I said I didn't give a
I'll tell you straight face to everybody watching. She don't know how to say things. But what I value is
I don't say it the way you want me to say it.
You don't know how to say it at all. Mama, you don't know how to say it at all.
No.
But I'll say this. Your heart, your intentions, and everything be in the right place. So I've learned to understand over time that it's pure. It's your pure. That don't mean it's wrong because I don't understand it. What I've learned to understand is don't care about the message, just care about the word.
Okay, but the reason why I say when you say I say it wrong, honestly, I'm gonna be true.
You're a thug.
I'm always be that. I don't care how much money I got, what I'm draping in or whatever. But what I'm saying to you is, you say I don't say it right, but what y'all young people need today, y'all stop needing people to dress the shit up. You need it raw and naked. True. When you fuck up, you fuck up.
I ain't gonna lie, when you say it, I be like, damn, dog, I ain't want to hear it like that. Okay, for the rest of the night, I hear it in your head like, damn, okay.
You can say to your kid, and I'm sure y'all experience this way like there in the land. I can say to my son, go in there and wash the dishes. Now, when I was coming up, your mama said it one time, well, you got the shit slapped out you. Okay? You say to your kid, go take out the garbage and do it. They're in there doing something. Then you go back, they still doing it. You come back in the house, you say, didn't I tell you to take out the garbage? Oh, I'm gonna do it. But wrong place. Didn't I tell your ass to go take out that goddamn garbage? You go. So people say that was the wrong way to say it. I said it in the delivery that I know it was gonna get the way it got to go. If you pass these days, you can't pacify. Like I got 3 kids, all of them are different, but I know how to talk to each one of them. My daughter, I say, with this son here, he's more like me as far as pushing and goals than any one of my kids. But I have to let him know that you ain't smarter than me. So sometimes my words they come on now. You ain't talking to your partner. So when people say you say it in the wrong way, I don't feel like I'm saying it. I just think I'm being raw and naked. I just think I'm raw and naked, and I'm telling it the way a parent. You can't pacify children these days, because if you pacify them, they're gonna be raising your ass instead of you raising them. And then they say the first day they good, I'm 18. Okay, what that mean? I'm 21. What that mean? I'm still taking care of you. And to the grave, respect is due. I don't care what. So with him, he know me, so he don't pay me no attention, but he know when I mean business. When I say it, it's just naked. It's just like this podcast. I'm not gonna sit up there and dress it up and tell you success is pretty. You gonna get what you want. You gonna this and that. Hell no. I'm not gonna tell you that. It's a struggle. I've not gotten here without heartache and struggle, tears rolling down my face, me persevering, and guess what? People ain't gonna help you.
They think you woke up.
Listen, people ain't gonna help you. When I say people ain't gonna help you, people will act like they're in your raw corner. Them same people that act like they're in your corner, it's really not in your corner. It goes from the church to the hood to the house. I don't care where you at. I'm just raw. I'm just thankful to be here. I thank God for life, health, and strength. I thank Marcus for coming, rushing from work, coming over here. As soon as he walked in the door, it looked like I could take my hair down, because he came and got it right and stuff like that. He be getting my team together and stuff like that. You know how you got these dependable people. Everybody is good on the set, but it's just something about him coming in there knowing what he's doing. And I thank everybody. I thank y'all for coming on this edition of Don't Tell Me You Can Do It. Like I say, it's naked and uncut. It's real. It's who I am. We just got to know, without a doubt, no matter what happened, what's going on, one thing you can't do is tell me you can't do it. Thank y'all for this segment. And y'all remember, y'all see these shirts we got on without the Super Bowl emblem on here. We have Don't Tell Me You Can Do It shirts and hats. We gonna contribute that toward the shirts are $25. We don't know how much the hats is going to be right now, but I want you to walk around with this type of attitude. Try it for like a couple of days or a week. Walk around and nobody can't tell you can't do it. It's just gonna give you a sense of pride. It's gonna make your chest stand out a little bit and your head gonna lift a little bit. So remember, in the upcoming week, we're gonna have these shirts for sale, these hats for sale, and I want to thank everybody on all the social media sites. Thank you for joining in. And I say to all of you, hype. And remember, February 13, 2022, don't tell me you can't do it.